Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, I'm John and I'm back with another video on my channel, Musings of a Marine, live from the kitchen table as I usually do. Hey, I want to thank everybody who watched my last video and gained some new subscribers once again. Keep it coming, I appreciate it. It's good to know people are out there actually enjoying what I have to say, and it's what keeps me going. But I just love sharing my thoughts on things, and definitely things Philippines related. Before I get into it, I got some fantastic news I wanted to share with everybody. Diane and I actually bought our tickets to the Philippines, and we will be heading off for Cebu on September 12th, and we'll stay there a couple of days before we head to Iloilo. So that's finally been done. We're not flying to Manila this time. We're flying to Cebu instead. And I think that's going to work out better for us and give an opportunity for us to explore Cebu a little bit in Mactan Island, which we didn't get a chance to do last time we were there. So wanted to share that with you first. But let's get into the topic today. And this topic is about Westerners, Filipinas, and money. And this is a controversial topic, and it's been talked about many, many times, but I'd like to give my perspective on it because I am not the person who is going to have a problem with a Filipina expecting a guy to have money and want some of it. Okay. Guys who are watching this video, and most people who watch my video are Western men, get real if you think this is a problem, okay? Here in the United States, I'm sorry, but if you want to meet some lady here who's attractive and has it together, and financially you don't, forget about it, okay? That relationship is not going to happen. Women want men who have their stuff together, who have ambition, who hope and are trying, if they haven't already, to make something of themselves. Women like security, and not just the physical security of knowing that if the man is bigger than them and they are not one who can physically protect themselves, having a man there for that reason, but also from a financial standpoint. You know, I've said this before, and I have no problems admitting this, that one of the reasons, and probably a big reason why my wife married me, was the opportunity to have a green card. Now, yes, we met in Michigan, but she was not a green card holder. She only was able to live here because she was considered an employee of the business that her employer that she nannied for had. That's why she was able to stay here. I don't know all the immigration stuff on it, but at the time it was legal, and that's why she was here. But obviously, if she was going to marry somebody and quit working for them, she had to have a green card, so we had to go through that process. And she didn't want to work for them forever, and she wanted to live in the United States. So here I was, and it worked out. And 28 years later, we're, going on 29 years later, because we met on July 6th of 1998, 1997 rather. Here we are, and she's still with me. So and so that is something to be said. And so if you think, oh yeah, you're going to marry a Filipina and bring her over to the States, and if there's a big age gap, and once she gets herself established in the States, she's just going to run off and find somebody younger or better looking or whatever. That's not necessarily the case. And for some different reasons, not all of which have been touched on by other videos. Is everybody knows me, has watched enough of my videos. They know I'm Catholic. They know I'm a churchgoer. And they know religion matters to me. My faith matters. And that plays a part in all of this, okay? You go to the Philippines, there's churches everywhere, and they're usually crowded. So religion is a big part of the Filipino culture, and it's also a big part of why married couples stay together. You know, you've heard the saying, couples that pray together stay together. My wife and I attend church almost every week, and I think that helps. It certainly has helped me and have a better understanding of how to be a good husband to her. So I want to throw that factor in there too, but let's look at some statistics here in the United States. Right now, people who get married here in the United States have a 40 to 45% chance of getting divorced. People like to just throw that 50 figure out there and around it. It's not true. It's not that bad. And the good news is divorce rates are actually dropping here in the United States. And I think there's also a resurgence of people going to church as well. And I think there's a correlation there. So, but so my point is that for one thing is you're worried about bringing this Filipina lady back to the United States and she's going to leave you. Well, heck, you got just as much of a chance if you married any other person, including an American lady, of getting divorced. So really, what's the risk? What's the difference? Okay. Here's some other interesting statistics that you might want to know about. And I believe these wholeheartedly from personal experience. The people who come over to the United States and in the world in general that have the lowest divorce rate are Asian people. I can honestly say this, as someone who sold cars for over 15 years and have had numerous Indian and Chinese customers, none of them were ever divorced. They all had the nuclear family intact, husband, wife, children, every time. And if you know Asian culture, and I've seen this firsthand, of course, in the Philippines, the children matter a lot. They are the center of the family. And they're even involved sometimes in car purchases too. I've seen couples ask their kids, what color should we get? Get them involved in the process, get them interested. And the nuclear family is huge. And those people are not necessarily Christian. Certainly the Chinese most likely are not, and most of the Indian couples that I met as well. But yet the nuclear family is strong. And so when I say that, the nuclear family being very strong in the Philippines, you bring a Filipino over to the United States and growing up in that kind of culture, that kind of surrounding, she may be less apt to leave you than your American counterpart because she wasn't raised any other way. That is the world that she knows. Divorce is illegal in the Philippines. You can't get divorced anyways. So it's not part of their society over there. And so in my opinion, you may have a better chance of your Filipina staying with you if you bring her over here to the United States. Now, is she going to want you to have money? Of course. She wants to be taken care of. She wants security. Every woman does. If you think otherwise, you've been living under a rock, man. Okay? So that is the one thing. If you go over and live in the Philippines, and hey, your wife is going to give money to this person in her family or that person in your family. And I've talked about this before, and from personal experience, I knew when I got married with my wife, that I was never going to have a problem with her sending stuff over to her family in a box or sending money, because I know they didn't have a lot. 3 of my wife's siblings immigrated to Canada. To immigrate to Canada, you have to have a bank account with money in it. You have to have proof that when you get to the country, you're not going to be freeloading off the government or standing on a corner begging. They don't want people like that in that country. We don't need them here in the United States either. Okay? So the show money amount was $10,000. So my wife would open an account in Canada, still a Canadian citizen, in her sister or one of her brother's names, put 10 grand in it for them. And then they would get the, ultimately once they got established, they would give the money back to Diana. However, Diana, before they got established, would give them money sometimes. So what? Okay, you wouldn't do that for your siblings? I know I would. I know I have. Okay, but and so why would you expect anything different from your Filipina bride or girlfriend? Okay, family is everything to them. I can't give an expat any greater advice than this. You go to the Philippines and you meet a lady and you want to marry her, you better be good with her family. If you are not, forget about it, man. That relationship is not going to work. Okay? It's the same as if you marry a Filipina who has a child. Man, you're second, okay? Child first. And personally, if that was ever me marrying into a situation like that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Okay? That's her offspring. That's her blood. What would you expect? I wouldn't expect anything less. So, keep all those things in mind. Yeah, she wants you to have money. Yeah. Is there love in there? Well, yeah, of course. My wife wanted to get a green card by marrying me, which she did, but she's hung around for almost 29 years. Must have done something right. There has to be some love in there somewhere. Her and I get along very well most of the time. Every couple fights. Sometimes when we do, Di acts like it's, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're fighting. We fight all the time, is what like she likes to say. When in truth, it's very rare. But yeah, well, welcome to marriage, right? So this is what happens. But getting back to the whole premise of it, of course they want you to provide, and of course they want you to help their family. Now, not all expats who retire in the Philippines are set financially. Some of them move there because it may be a matter of survival. We know how expensive it is to live in the United States now. And if you were going to live strictly off of Social Security, most likely it's going to be very difficult here, but not in the Philippines. So, but, you have to be careful about that. I mean, you can't be the National Bank of the Philippines to your girlfriend or bride and her family, but at the same time, you got to be generous. You got to help out. And she will love you for that. When she sees how you love her family and respect her family, that makes a big difference. That's one thing I've always had going for me. I hit it off with Diana's family immediately, became good friends with 2 of my brother-in-laws, and got close with a couple of my nephews as well. And that has made all the difference. And even to this day, my nephew Baba and I, who I just talked to yesterday, he is in the midst of overseeing an addition being built on our house in Iloilo, and he is still my best friend over there, even though, and now I've known him for 24 years. So that makes a difference. I've known him since he was 9 years old, and after all this time, he's still my best friend over there. That's the kind of relationships you want to forge in the Philippines with your wife's family. And I get along with her siblings and her in-laws and the great nieces and nephews now. That's what you want. And part of that is you have to understand how the importance of them, and that does mean sometimes forking over some money too. And I don't have a problem with that. So I wanted people to understand that. There's been other videos about it, but I wanted to give my perspective on it because I'm not some guy who moved to the Philippines and got married within the last 5 years. I've been married to a Filipina for a long time. We're getting ready to make our 7th trip to Iloilo for me and my 9th trip to the Philippines overall. And, you know, I want to close this video on this note here. You know what? If you're a woman and you want to keep a man, and I've heard this said many times, make him feel good. And I'm not just talking about sex. Respect him. Make him feel good. I love going to Iloilo because I feel like a king over there. The special treatment I get from people in the stores, I've mentioned it before. I stand out like a sore thumb, and I'm a center of attention. I dig that, okay? I'm not shy anymore. I like that. All right, so you have all these pluses and minuses. And yeah, it's going to take money to take care of your Filipina. Get real. That's reality. But if she reciprocates, makes you feel good, is attentive, as my wife was when we were dating, that was my big attraction to her. You know, looks out for you, takes care of you like Diana does to me. The house is clean. There's always food cooked. The laundry's taken care of. She does all of that. I do the outside work. Okay? So embrace that stuff. And yeah, it costs money because nobody wants to be with a deadbeat. I don't care what country they're from. So anyways, those are my thoughts today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the likes. And if you like my content, please subscribe. And that helps keep me going. And as always, take care, God bless, and Semper Fi.